What's shaking, guys? My name is Luke Dancy, and it is Wednesday. It is our live show day, and today we have a very special guest. I will be joined by not just one person, actually. I will be joined by two people today. That is Brandon, David, and Chris Turchi, the co-creators of the brand new Project Swiss Army. This is an amazing utility device. This is a tool. It's not just a trick. This is something that will allow you to do a lot of very, very cool stuff. And I've got them here today to answer any of the questions that you guys might have about it, and also to just let you know more about it. If you haven't heard about this yet, well, you will today. I'm actually going to run the trailer for you in just a sec, but this is also your reminder that we will be live with you guys both on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. So if you guys do have any questions about this stuff along the way, or if you have any questions about Brandon, David, and Chris Turchi's previous work too, you can also post questions about that. So don't be shy. We know you're out there. Let's hear from you, all right? But up first, let's take a look at the trailer for Project Swiss Army, just to give you an idea of what you can do with it. And we will be back with the boys in just a minute to tell you all about it. Stay tuned.
All right, so a few things you can do with the Swiss Army deck. We are so excited to bring you guys Project Swiss Army. This is such a powerful tool for the close-up magician.
Cards differently before. I want you to sign your initials on the face of the card. Actually, write your name really big. I want everyone to be able to see your name. Place your card back in the pack wherever you like, okay? I'm gonna leave it up to you. There? Okay. Now, I want to do this little experiment in test conditions, okay? I'm gonna place you place your card inside the pack. You picked your own card. You signed it. It's personalized to you. It's trapped inside the walls of this box, okay? Who has a watch on? Okay, I want you to time me to see how long it takes me to get her card out of the deck and out of the box completely, okay?
Oh my God!
You can show the box on all sides. You never switch it out. It's the same box and deck from the beginning to the end.
Okay, I want you to count in your head to see how long it takes me to get your card out of the pack, okay? Ready? 1, 2, oh, it's already here. Sorry, here.
It's easy to perform. It's a real worker. It's gonna go directly into your arsenal. So gear up and join Project Swiss Army.
All right, my friends, there you have it. A good look at the Project Swiss Army, and now you have a good look at both of the guys in the trailer. I got Brandon, David, and Chris Turchi with me live. What is shaking, boys?
What's going on, guys? What's going on, everybody?
Great to have you guys here. We've got some great questions coming in already. I'm sure you guys have more. Feel free to post those. We are excited to have the guys with us. And the best part is, this is just the start with these guys. We have a lot more coming out from them over the next year. And this is just the start of it. But this is a great one. This is something that, as you saw in the trailer, it allows you to do not just one thing, but a lot of different things. And that's one of the reasons I wanted the guys to come on and to chat with you, is because sometimes when you buy stuff, you're buying a one-trick DVD or just something like that. But this is something so much more than that. So I think the first part is, let's get a little backstory from the guys to find out more about this, where it came from, and how it became what it is now as the Project Swiss Army. So I'll leave it to you guys.
Well, I'll start with that, I guess. Yeah, take it away. Yes, Swiss Army was like created by, almost like as a little bit of a monster. It was created by accident, almost. Not accident, but the process was just a bit weird. Not your
it was by accident.
It was by accident. It wasn't your typical, like, you create something and think, okay, well, I want to make this glass float. How do we do it? It wasn't like that. It was like, I was trying to make, like, picture like a half of a deck of cards, you know, split right in half. And I just glued all the cards together, and I glued a card on top of that, and I tried to make a deck appear from flat position into like, so you would see the deck appear in my hand, but it was a gimmick block and it wasn't going anywhere. So I'd split the block into 2 pieces and put magnets in it. And I just stuck a card in the middle of it. And I'm like, oh, you can pull that card out from those 2 attached together blocks really easily. So I just sat down with Chris. I'm like, man, this is something here. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
so we sat down and jammed on it. And we're like, so he just had the eureka moment. He's like, oh, just make it a smaller thing, a gimmick on the deck. And we
Basically turned it into a workable deck rather than a completely gimmick deck that can't do anything but that.
Cool.
That's right. And then added with the gimmick box as well. So the two things combined, the deck with the box, we just sat down and we're like, finally, we got something here. What can we do with this? Well, we know we can do this. We know we can do this. So it took us a few months of playing around with ideas of all different things that could do before we went out and started doing it for people. But I don't know. I think
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
I think
All the deets. Well, I think one of the most important things to talk about is one of the biggest things in the ad copy is that this is a way to take a signed card that goes back in the deck, goes back into the box. You can show the box all around, which I think is very important here. And as you go to put the box away, you can come out with a signed card in basically the blink of an eye. It happens really, really quick. But that's not all you can do with it. But that effect in itself could definitely play by itself. And what a great way to show people that the hand, a cliche thing, a hand's quicker than the eye, that they have to keep an eye on you and what you're doing. But that effect alone is what sold me on this. I'm not going to lie to you. And I think that sometimes because you have more with it, we kind of let those other things get in there too. But that could have been sold by itself very easily. I'd have to say that. Just that one effect.
Yeah, thank you. I
Thanks,
appreciate that. And you're right. I mean, like, depending on, what kind of magic you're doing, I think that this is definitely a powerful trick because, you got to remember that the spectators, the laymen, they don't know anything. They don't have any expectations. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't even know what a gimmick is. So, when you use something like this that is heavily gaffed, and you do something like that, because everything is so fair from start to finish, you pull the cards out of the box, you spread them out, you can literally show. I want to touch on this anyway, so I'll just show you just how fair this is. It's 160. It's 360-degree angle proof. There is no angle because here's me holding the deck in a natural position. So when I turn my hands like so, as you can see, there's nothing. I mean, people can't see through you, so you don't have to worry about this direct angle. But other than that, I mean, you can't get any better than that. And when you spread the cards out, I mean, you can literally show it from every single angle possible. And I think that's what makes it so awesome. It's one of those things like you don't need to run if you're not being chased. If nobody says, hey, wait a minute, are you holding a gaff deck right now? You don't need to prove it. Spread them, have them pick a card. I mean, it is what it is.
Put 2 cards in it and show them that you can also cut the cards, like give them a couple of cuts. Yeah, so also you can, here, I'm just going to stand for a second here. So you can basically cut the deck as many times as you want, like when you're doing this, so that you can, and although what Chris was just saying, you could show them, you could spread them,
You can't do that there.
Oh, but anyway,
gotta
all
have
I'm
that
saying
part
is that
of
you
it.
can keep cutting the deck so that you, as well as spreading them, you can also give them a couple cuts while you're doing it, which people may think, they may not think.
And I think that's important that they're showing you guys as well that, there are other tricks out there that allow you to do things like have a card taken out of a box, at a moment's notice too, but they can't do this. And I think that's a big thing that we want to say here is you can spread this deck, you can show it, and also this is something that is very easy to do, but also the deck can be shown. It doesn't look like there's anything going on. You put everything away and then you take the card out. I think that's important because there has been some talk, and I did see a question pop up. I can't remember who it was. Is this similar to Extractor? And I know that we talked about it, and obviously it's not, or else we would have not released it.
Not even the slightest.
But I am glad you also covered the angles. But that is something important too, because I did see another question, and we talked about it yesterday too, where are there bad angles on this? And you showed me yesterday too that when you spread the deck and the way you hold it, it covers where the dirty stuff is, if you want to call it that, naturally, not in a weird way, but in a very natural way. So
Yeah.
And that's important, as a performer, that you want to know that the stuff that you have to use doesn't look out of place. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And that is one of the things. Yeah, like I believe I did read a few things somewhere too where a few people said that, you got to watch your angles and this and that. And I got nothing on that because you don't.
So that part's true. You don't need to worry about your angles for that stuff. But I think talking about the extractor, I knew about the extractor like a long time ago. I'm pretty well versed in what's out there, and I've been doing it for quite a while as far as knowing what magic's what. And I think it's good to know what's out there so that you can try to stay away from either, you know, getting too like my mission or our mission when we do stuff is not to like, oh, well, let's just come up with a slightly better version of that. You know, we try not to do that. Most of it's different concepts and original and different things. We try to play around with new ideas, new concepts, and go crazy with some stuff sometimes. But you know, only a handful of things we have is like, you know, improvements and doing stuff like that, which is if you take it to a whole nother level, it's great. But this was never meant to be an extractor or anything or like extractor. It just so happens that the gimmick allowed you to pull a card out of a pack quickly. But the reason that we did a routine like that is because of how fair this gimmick, like the fact that, you know, the card is selected, whether it's forced or not, it doesn't matter because they're signing it. And to me, signing the card makes it more personable to them. And a magician would be like, oh, I got to force the card. But even if you force the card and they sign it, what does it matter? You know what I mean? Like they go, I'm going to sign it. Obviously, it's the same card and play the entire time. That's what's really important is that people know that it's a signed card. Because
I did read somebody say something about, oh, what do I need to buy this for? I can just put a duplicate card somewhere.
Come on.
What?
We try to come up with mostly everything that uses signatures and autographs or something that can be examined or something that can be, you know, whatever it is at the end of the day, like we try to cover all the bases.
Real quick, don't get me wrong. It doesn't have to be. Dupe card tricks are great. Like, again, a layman, as a magician, we always try to, or you always have to try to think not as a magician. When you're performing and you know, let's just say, for example, you're wearing something and you know you're wearing it, so you're super worried that everyone knows that you're wearing it.
Oh,
and
yeah, right.
The truth is, no one knows you're wearing it, and they're never going to see it unless you have someone who knows a bit about magic, and they're, like, watching you, looking. So my point is like, you know, as magicians, we have to stop thinking like magicians when we're performing or when we're looking at a trick. Like, you'll go, oh, you know, that trick sucks. Well, really, does it suck, though? Like, if you perform it to a layman, you know,
the method also doesn't matter as far as what the method is what can you accomplish with that method? It's like, what can I, with this deck of cards and this box together, what can I accomplish with that? I mean, at the end of the day, I want to go perform this at an event and I want to get some cool reactions from it and get some sort of emotional response, whether it's, you know, whatever that is for you. But this combined together can do more than just one thing opposed to just plucking a card out of the pack. It continues down the line. Like if people out there who, you know, want to force a card on somebody, like maybe have multiple force cards, you know, this deck allows you to not have to worry about card control and like doing card slips to slip the next card down to do the next force to do this. You could legitimately have your hands empty and force the cards with no pinky break. So that's one other feature. You know?
That was cool. If you're doing like a stage bit where you need like four forced cards out to the audience or something, you know, instead of bringing out a one-way decks or like Brandon said, having all four cards at the top of the deck and having to cut and hold pinky breaks and riffle force, you could just force. And for me, I use the classic force with this because, you know, that's just what I'm comfortable with. I don't ever do this type of force. I literally do the spread force. And with being able to know and control the card without any breaks every time without fail, you know, it's awesome. Like, it's just, if you're going to use Swiss Army for what it's intended for, you're going to get tons of mileage out of it. If you want to use Swiss Army for something else, then it's not for you. Like,
this allows you to have some other things that you can do with it, because everybody we show it to, whether it's, you know, like jamming with Eric Jones or showing these people, whoever it is, or Justin or anybody that we've met along the way, you know, that we've met at conventions, whatever, whoever we show it to ends up coming up with like something that's not in the video. Somebody, I think it was Xavier, who was playing around with a diagonal palm shift that you could easily do with a card that's legitimately placed back in without having to hold any angle, right? Or like stay. Actually, I'm not trying to say that people shouldn't learn actual magic like sleight of hand and like learn how to do the classics of magic. You know what I mean? Don't try to I'm not trying to make the easy way out for everybody, you know. But this just so happens, you can force multiple cards without having to hold the pinky break. So it's a little less for you to worry about when you're performing, right?
Absolutely.
But that's just one out of the list of things that this does, like hard to impossible locations. That's the only comparison to, if you want to talk about like, the extractor, is that
He extracted the card and put it in a possible location.
and put it in a possible location where, or I mean, I don't remember a routine where you come out like in a time thing. But I mean,
No.
if that was even in there, fine. I mean, but we didn't even watch the video going, we're going to come out. So the fairness of this is what made me excited about it for you guys, because yes, you may have to force the card, or if unless you want to start with a real deck, yeah, you really could if you wanted to, but there's no reason to worry about having any card selected. Just easily force a card, have them sign it, and put it back anywhere they want in the pack, which is another thing. They're putting it back in the pack, not you, or like with the spread deck of cards.
And remember, when you say the word force to a non-magician, what's that? They don't even. They're selecting a card, whether it's forced or not. To them, they're picking a card.
True.
Right. So
yes. Agreed.
Just to clear up the whole force thing.
You're right, though. You're right. There might be people who don't know that. You're totally right.
Yeah.
There's a good question that just popped in too. I wanted to ask you, talking about a lot of the different things that you can do with it. It was I think it was named Remy. Yes, on YouTube. Why is it called Project Swiss Army? And I know what you're saying goes along with what that question is, but I thought that I would also drop that in because you're talking about how there's so many different things you can do with it. So I kind of answered it, but hopefully I didn't answer all of it.
I think the name of it kind of came just from the fact that we realized that by combining these two things together, the deck and the box, you could actually accomplish like quite a bit of things. And just with the deck alone as well, not even with the box, So I think just like a Swiss Army, right?
It was just like a Swiss Army knife. It does multiple things. You open it up, there's 4 or 5 things on it. So
Like it wasn't like ambitious card or rising card, or like there's no key way to summarize really what this did, other than the fact that it did a lot of things. And what does a lot of things is Swiss Army. So that's pretty much where it came from, kind of.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's the other thing too I didn't even think of. You're right, that you could also use this as a card to impossible location, because you don't just have to put the box in your pocket and just pull the card right out. You could use that in any way that you want. You're just getting the card, and you could do anything with it. I totally didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. What I do with this, and I think it was put in the tutorial, I'm pretty sure, is once the cards are in the box, and the fact that you've shown them that their card is still in that exact location, for you to get their signed card out of the middle of the card case, you would legitimately have to take the cards out of the card box and go through the cards to find it. Right? That's really the only way you could really do that in that fair of condition is when it's in the center of the box. How the heck would you get that? That alone is a strong mystery. But when you put that in the card case and you seal it, for those of you who do get it, you can just put a little piece of tape on the top here or glue it down, the actual sticker, and then put a little piece, I think we covered this in the tutorial, but put a piece of double stick glue or double stick tape that you buy from the store, to put some here, so that this part is permanent on the lid and this part here is restickable, so that you can that will stay and never come off, the top part. Stick that down permanent and make that double stick glue or double stick tape. So when you put the seal on, if you're doing it over and over and over again, it's just a really quick peel it back, and then it sticks back again.
Just adds a little extra impossibility to getting the card out.
And if you use your box over time, this will keep the cards, like this will keep anything from falling out or coming down. Like it'll close it up to keep it all nice and tight when it's in your pocket. But that was just a little side note thing, just in case,
Well, no, I mean, you're right. It does add to the impossibility because, if the tuck is closed and there's no way to get in there, how could someone get in there that quickly too? And that was another question that came up based on kind of the things you're saying. This one came from Ketosis with Joey on YouTube. He says, how hard is it to cop the card right out of the box? That way I can load it into the real gentleman's wallet. So basically, if someone wants to do card to wallet with something like this, how hard would it be to get the card out?
So,
good question, by the way.
It is a good question. So this is how hard it is to take the card out. So, and I'm not messing with you. I don't have a dupe down here to lie to you guys. This is genuinely going to come out of the center of the box. So you have to go into a pocket in order to do this trick. So
let me pause here on the pocket. You can also put this in a spectator's pocket, which we didn't really talk about in the video, but if you wanted to, you could put the deck in their pocket and come out with their signed card right away if you really wanted to.
yeah, you could do that. And I mean, as long as you got control, you don't want to do it in just any random person's pocket. Like, you have to pick your audience members. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if you get someone who's crazy, no, don't stick it in their pocket. But if you get someone who you know isn't going to dive right in their pocket and rip your deck apart to find out what just happened, then yes, you could totally do that. But anyways, how hard is it to get it out of the box? It is about this hard. Here. That's how hard it is.
It's that easy. I love it.
So because of that, because of how quick it is,
So good.
people who are worried about having like an actual gimmick deck is that once you pluck the card out of your pocket for that routine with the signed card,
Oh yeah.
is you could just come out of your pocket with a legitimate real deck of cards, like a duplicate real deck, and just put it on the table and put the card on the table, because the trick is over. You've accomplished the feat. They know what came out of the middle of the deck. So you could easily just come out now. You can just take this card, right? Either give it to them to keep as a souvenir or whatever, and just take your cards out and just continue with your card magic.
Well, just one of the things that I do, just so you guys know, is pretty much exactly what Brandon just said. I pull out this deck. I get them to pick a card and sign it. I put it back in. I pull it out, and then I, like, immediately before I've even handed off to them, like upon handing it off, I pull out my Switch deck, which is a real deck now, and I drop it on the table. I give the card to them. I let them react. Oh my God, it's mine. It's got my signature. And then I pick the cards back up, take them out of the box, and I do envelope. So it's like, I mean, there's just no, people don't go, you must have had another deck in your pocket. Like, they don't do that. Like,
Because they know that their
just
signed card
don't.
was in the middle of
And
the deck.
and if they do that, maybe you're doing something wrong. Because, I mean, we've been performing this. We filmed this trick 3 years ago, just so you guys know. So we've been performing this for 3 years now. And like, I can't remember one time someone has said anything other than, oh my, like, holy crap, how did you do that? Like,
This is strong. You got to really give this the tiny bit of easy practice it deserves to get the timing down and everything right, and just like your key moments of showing the deck, showing it around, do this trick slowly. Don't do this trick super fast, because the second you start to do this trick super fast, people are automatically going to think that you did something like sneaky with that by moving really fast. So when you slide the card, slide it into the middle let them slide it into the middle of the deck slowly, and you square it all up. Take out the cards and stick them right into the box. Right? Push them in, close it up, seal it, show it all the way around, and tell people, look, it's sealed up. You can see the box all the way around. Let them sink in the impossible conditions that you've created around their card.
Stop right there for a second. I just want to say this while he's in the middle of this, because I read someone saying something about why do I need to buy Project Swiss Army just to overprove something?
Oh, come
And
on.
I know it kind of makes me giggle, because it's not about overproving anything. It's about your spectators understanding what is happening. So when you do what Brandon is saying, you're presenting the effect. You're not overproving the fact that you can get the card. They don't even know you're about to get the card. All you're doing is showing them, look, your card's in the deck, it's in the box, it's sealed all the way around, and now they understand 100% that yes, my card is sealed in this box. And then boom, boom, and now they can't compute. And real quick, like Brandon was saying before, we showed a lot of people along the way, people who have really big names, and I'm not by any means saying we fooled them, but they were definitely, how the heck did that happen? And it took a bit of talking and maybe seeing it again to really grasp anything.
I fooled every single person I've ever shown with this, and this,
basically what I'm saying, and what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
yeah, and it's a good trick. You will enjoy it as long as you give it a little bit of time and practice. But you were saying before, though, about the wallet and the card. We kind of went off topic there because we were talking about the wallet and the impossible location for a minute. And we went off.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to go over that. So I definitely think this was in the tutorials, but basically, if you have a wallet in your back left pocket and you have the deck of cards and you do the trick, they sign the card, place it in the pack, you place it in the box, seal it up, show it around, show your hands empty. When you go to place it in your back pocket, you're gonna do the part where you take it out, right? And that's gonna go in your back. So now you're gonna have the signed card in your hand in like 2 seconds. You're gonna pass it to your left hand, as you come back and show the deck one more time. So you basically put it in your back pocket, take it out the secret way, pass it to your other hand, which folds it up quick and slides it into your wallet, which is in your other back pocket. As you come back out with the deck again, or this is what I do in real time. Let me show you. So if you're going to do a wallet application, is you would have the cards, the wallet would be right here, and the cards are here. So I'm going to come here. It's already out. I've passed it to this hand. So it's in. I've taken it out the secret way, passed it to this hand. I'm folding it up and placing it in my wallet as I'm still pretending like I'm leaving this card in my back pocket like this. Boom, 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 and then I come out with my wallet. So they just think I put my deck of cards in my back pocket. Now I'm going to get my wallet.
That's
but I've
great.
actually passed it, fold it, and put it in the secret slide in the wallet and into the zippered compartment. So it's all happened within a split second. So now if you do the joke with the Fire wallet, you can do that, or you can just do your card to wallet. But you could say before I go, I'm going to give you I want to give you my business card. So you take out your wallet, you go to give them a business card, but then that's when you open up the zipper and say, actually, can you go ahead and take out whatever's in there? And oh, it's your signed card, and then they react. Now, this is another thing I wanted to talk about too, is that I always, when I do Project Swiss, after I started doing it for a while, I realized that it's nice to utilize the fact that this does many things and combine them together, so that you can combine routines. So like, for instance, you can do, I'm not going to go through all the motions, but let's just say you do the one where you pull it out of your jacket really fast. So they've got a card, they're signing it, it's going back into the pack where they want it, into the box, into the pack sealed, showed around. It goes into your hand, and then boom, it's out in a split second. Once that's done, I hand them the signed card, and I just take the box back out, the exact same box. And I say, you know what, let's maybe you think I did something fishy there. Maybe you think something was not right. Let me show you again, just in case you missed. So I have them take their signed card that they're now holding, and I have them place it back in the pack. I don't take the cards back out of the box now. I just leave them in the box. So I let them slide there. I said, put it somewhere in the middle. It's harder to get. So just go ahead and say that. Just put it somewhere in the middle. It's harder to get. Because if they put their card somewhere at the top, they might think you just pulled it out from the side, right? So you want them to get their card in the center, and you want to hit home. Go ahead, put your card in the middle. It's harder for me to get.
And that also actually makes it easier for you to get it by it being in the middle.
Right.
Right.
Well, you're right.
I don't mean to cut you off, but It is important for you guys to know, which obviously we told you on the the tutorial. But yeah, you definitely, when you do it, you want to you don't have to force them to put it in the middle, but Brandon's right. By telling them it's easier or it's harder for him to get it if it's in the center of the deck.
Chris, so he's going to take a card. If I have the cards in my hand, what he's getting at is, for him, what he's saying, I was just talking about them going when the cards are in the box, but when the cards are for the very first thing, if you want to actually get them just to slide it in, only open up the middle section and say, here, just slide your card in somewhere. They'll automatically put it in the middle somewhere, right?
It's true.
If you only separate the middle section of the deck and keep the block of cards at the bottom and a block of cards at the top, so the center's on. Because once it's in the center, it's a lot easier for you to get it out once it's in the box, is what Chris is saying.
True. That's what I'm saying.
There's a question from my buddy Matthew who's saying, how long will the gimmick last? Over multiple uses and being in your pocket would think put some wear and tear on the box itself. So
before we go on though, let me finish this up really quick so I can sit back down again.
All right.
Before we answer that question, what I was saying before is before we talked about putting it back in the middle is when you do this, if you combine them together, so if you do the pick a card, they sign it, put it in deck, put it in the pocket, pluck it out, have them hold on to it, take the cards out again and say, let's try this one more time, go ahead and place the card back in the center so it's harder for me to get. So they're going to place it back again into the center, but don't take the cards out of the box this time, just leave them in. Now close the box up again. Now go to place it in your back pocket. Now take the card out the secret way, pass it to your other hand, fold it up, put it in your wallet, or your impossible location. It could just be folded up in your pocket. If you want to do one of those dog clip things, where you have it hanging off your dog clip, and anything you can use a Mercury card folded card with, you could, whatever your favorite idea or presentation is, you can now either have it in your wallet or appear in the paper clip or here, wherever the hell you do. So do like their card is now in an impossible location, but now you did two impossible feats and you combine them together right after each other. So use the Swiss deck for 2 effects and hit it home. because you're doing something impossible. So you're doing it twice. They take it out really fast, like, oh my gosh, and now you're making it go to an impossible location. So try combining stuff together, like in the trick.
Love it. Thanks. Yeah, and no, I mean that's the great thing. There's so much you can do with this, and there's so many little details that when you realize, yes, you can do certain things with it, but if you allow yourself to slow down with it, which is something I'm really glad that you said, you could also use this in ways that people don't expect, because it's also a great way to get things into another location. And I love how fair the handling is, and that's another big selling point to me. A couple of questions though about the actual gimmicks here. Over on YouTube, a couple of people are asking, is it a gimmick tuck? Is it a gimmick deck? And then also we talked about the durability. So let's get into some of the specifics on the gimmicks now that you do get. I'll let one of you or both of you jump in and kind of give the specifics on what people get and the durability of everything that they get too.
Okay, so real quick, to go back to the first question, how long will this last?
Sure.
It's a deck of cards. I mean, it's going to last as long as you take care of it. So this is actually my original Swiss deck. And like I said, this is the one that debuted in the trailer. And we filmed that 3 years ago, and I use this deck. So now, yes, it is. I mean, I would say it's a little dirty in the sense of it doesn't look like a brand new deck of cards, but it's not dirty by any means in the sense where I go ew or anyone else would notice. My card box, I mean, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's got like its little bit of fray or wear.
It's a card box. Again, it's like the deck. It's a card box. I mean,
yeah.
Don't jam the box in your pocket if you're doing strolling or walk around with like 6 other things, right?
Right.
Like leave that pocket for that deck of cards or something, or in your inside jacket pocket or somewhere or tight in your back pocket. Just try not to jam a bunch of stuff in one pocket.
And keep in mind, real quick, you're not performing with Swiss deck like 700 times in one night. Like, you're not using it to do ambitious card and to do envelope and to do Swiss deck and to do. So my point is you're not really handling the living snot out of it like a regular deck of cards. So it's going to stay a little fresher longer. If it was a deck of cards that you were using for your entire hour walk around, then yeah, I don't know how long it would last. It would get dirty, But the other thing is, I'm a germaphobe, so my hands are always clean. But I mean, if you wash your hands all the time, as much as I do, your stuff will stay cleaner. I mean, I just think it's a matter of how you take care of it on how long it's going to last.
That's fair. No, that's a good point, man.
You have a deck of cards that looks like a deck of cards and feels like a deck of cards. When you're, I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, you know what I mean? But I've over the years gotten more comfortable as a performer to do things like where I toss it into somebody's hand quickly, or take the box out and give it to someone. Here, hold this for a second, and then I put it back in, or just put it in your pocket if you're not comfortable with that kind of stuff. Just let it stick out of your pocket and put it back in. But I'm not afraid to have people handle stuff like this. You know what I mean? You take care of it. It looks good. And sorry, Susie, can I just get that? Yeah, thanks. I'm just kidding.
Inside joke last night.
You put your card, keep this when you travel with it in the box.
That's a good point, I guess, but I'm not sure. I can already see people going, I don't want to carry that around. But I mean, at the same time, if you put it back into here all the time, you're going to stop it from getting ratty. One of the reasons why mine doesn't, like my corners don't look all smashed up is because like I actually put this into a card clip, and that's how I carry it around, because I don't want the box to get bashed up. I have a few certain tricks that I keep that are gimmick, David Penn's 52-1. It's in my pocket all the time.
Name dropping.
Yeah, well, it's a good trick. He deserves it.
It is a good trick, yeah.
Keep that.
I do love it.
I keep that in a hard card clip. That way, it doesn't get banged around in my magic case. So again, I think it's just how you take care of it is how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can move on. That's too much information for that question.
No, it's great. I mean, the more people know, the better. I mean, it's this is a gimmick, obviously, so people want to know. Is it going to last? Is it something I'll be able to use for a while? Someone did say, if we put another deck of cards in the Swiss Army deck, what will happen? So I guess what they're saying is, if you were to put a different deck into the box, nothing would happen, right? I mean, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It would turn blue.
Hey, don't be telling people that, because someone might actually believe it, and they're going to buy it and go, but wait, Brandon David said.
I'm just kidding.
For sake of argument, here is like a different deck,
Right.
and we'll just put it inside the box. So if you had it, basically, if you had some idea of what, oh wow, I can use this box for this without the Swiss deck, I'm just going to use the Swiss box. The answer is yes.
Another specific here, is the signed card gimmicked? I think that's a great question, because we're talking about some gimmicks here. Is the card that they sign a gimmick card?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
That's great, because now they can keep the
Just-
card, you know?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, I give the card out all the time. Any signed card I do, and you know, if you don't, for people who are watching, anytime you do, and at the same time, I know some people maybe don't have a ton of money and they don't want to be always getting cards signed and giving them out. I mean, I go through a deck or two every show that I like, every hour-long gig that I do, because everybody signs my cards and I give them away no matter what whether I folded them, this, that. I always give it as a souvenir. People love that stuff.
There's another question here specific to the price point. We talked a little bit ago about that there are things on the market that allow you to do things like the extracting part, where you take the card out. But this one is a lot more flexible, literally, and it also is a lot less expensive. What is the price point on Project Swiss Army, just so people know if they haven't seen it yet?
$34.99.
$34.99. Yeah.
Yeah, so $35, which to me is a great price for what you get here and what you can do with it. And again, this isn't just a one-trick pony. This is something you can use to do a lot of different things.
Sure.
And
Yes.
that's not something that you get every day. Like I said earlier when we talked, a lot of times people buy a one-trick DVD, and sometimes all they get is pieces of stuff to put together. What you get, everything there is ready out of the box to start performing with. I think that's also important to note here. You don't have to make anything at home. So
No, all you have to do is grab a couple of extra cards from a normal deck, and you're set to go.
Yeah. Speaking of that, someone also asked, what was the question? Because I'm looking on YouTube and Facebook as well. Someone says, what's your favorite trick from the deck? So, of course, there's a lot of different things you can do with it. We saw most of those on the trailer, but between both of you, I guess, what's your favorite trick that you could do with the Swiss Army deck here?
So I'll take this one real quick. So I really love extracting the card, I guess we'll say. I shouldn't,
Pulling out the card.
Pulling out the card, yeah. It's funny, every time I say extracting the card, because technically that's what you're doing, it makes me think of the extractor decks.
We use all those whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But my favorite, to be honest with you, and one of the ones that I actually do. Now, anyone who owns this will probably be like, "Ooh, oh my god, I wouldn't do that." But if you ask Brandon, I'm that magician. I'll make wine bottles appear in close-up situations, fully surrounded. I like magic that just, I don't know. Basically, what I'm saying is, if there's something that is angly or whatever, you know what? For me, it's not angly, because what's an angle? Cover it. I mean, anyways, that's a whole other story. But one of the things that I like to do with it, because I don't care worrying about stuff, is I like to rest like this. Oh, it didn't work. And give it a flick out and have the card.
He usually gets it to shoot right.
All right, my friends, and we are back. We had a little quick hiccup with the technical stuff out there. You know how it goes sometimes. But anyway, I am back here with the boys again. They were just chatting about some of the specifics, some of their favorite things that they could do with the deck. And we had a couple more questions, but I'll let Chris finish. He was talking about flicking the card out, which, while it seems like a simple thing, isn't it funny how a lot of the simple things that we do as magicians, spectators, they end up talking about them more sometimes than the hard things that we do.
Yeah. Hey, Luke, sorry, the sun just shifted and now is right in my face if I sit normal. So let me just shut this curtain real quick.
Hey, guys. What's going on, guys? Yeah, that's better. Perfect. So he was just talking about flicking the card out. Now you can do it on the table as well. You don't need to do it in your hands like that. That's brave.
It is brave, and it's easy. It's easier to control on a table, and it's easier to flick it out on a table. Everything's a little bit more level for you. Yeah, I like to put it on my fingers and flick their card out. It just looks cool.
So that's another thing you can do it if you play around with it. Play around with it a bunch. Try and get the right angle, the right speed to flick, try and get your nail on. Just play around with it. That's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll flick it and it'll come all the way out. And then other times you'll flick it. I'll try to purposely do. Well, no, I'll just do it naturally. Other times you'll flick it and it won't go flying. I guess it also depends on, like, if you're playing with Swiss deck and you drop your cards and then you pick them back up, even if the floor is clean, when you get a little bit of lint or dust or anything in between the cards, sometimes it makes them not slide nicely anymore. And like I said, this deck is 3 years old, so the cards have been handled. There's a lot of grease and fingerprints on them. So for me, flicking the card out, it doesn't always go flying because there's a lot of friction in my deck.
So when it's brand new, it comes out.
Yeah, when it's brand new, you'll flick that thing across the street.
Like, that's true. It will come flying out really fast.
Yeah. So
there you go.
That was. I'm trying. It figures when I try not to flick it all the way out, it just goes flying. I'm just trying to show. Most of the time, you'll get like something like that, which is kind of cool.
Which is still really cool
because then they can just kind of take it out of the deck themselves, and it's really baffling to people at how you can just flick a deck and the card sticks out. So
that's another one of the things.
Yeah.
Love it. Awesome.
Which we showed it at the beginning of the trailer because it just looks so great. Like I think it was like kind of a eureka moment when we first, I don't even remember who flicked it out, but it doesn't even matter. But it was like boom, and it just went flying across the room. We were like, wow.
Meant to be. Meant to be.
Patrick Murphy's was mentioning too that I was talking to him about this, and he was saying that you guys can have multiple cards put back in the deck, like signed cards. Like if you're doing, like, say, a stage show or doing something, and any card name for, like, you can kind of just, you reach in your back pocket. What was your card? 6 of spades. Boom. 6 of spades. What was your card? 4 hearts. Boom. 4 hearts.
Oh,
what was your card? So you could do like a rapid fire, like have 3 people pick a card and have 3 cards taken out quickly, from like that they placed in the pack. So it doesn't just have to be 1 card. You could present it as 3 cards and play it up a little bit. Do it in a parlor show. It can play it for a bigger audience as well, opposed to just strolling.
And I want to touch on this real quick.
You.
Yeah, you guys are like, what are they laughing at? Don't worry about it.
We have
here that's not specific to the trick, but I do like this because it helps people get to know you guys a little bit better too. My buddy Andrew over on YouTube is saying, "Are you guys from Canada?" Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
And if so, are you going to be at the Browsers Magic Bash convention? I'm not sure when that is, but he was asking if you guys will be there.
I don't think we were able to make it to that.
Yeah, I don't think that we will be.
Yeah, we won't be able to make it to that. Maybe next year, but not this year.
All right. You guys are pretty busy. And that's another thing I want to say, too. Both of these guys, they perform professionally. Brandon does his own thing. Chris does his own thing. And sometimes they come together and they perform together as a team, too. But these guys aren't just people that have day jobs and they decide, hey, let's put out a trick and stuff. These guys actually are professional magicians. And I think that's another thing that gets overlooked sometimes when people are releasing magic is they think, oh, these guys are just putting out tricks. No, these are things they actually use in their working repertoires, and that shouldn't be overlooked at all, in my opinion. So,
yeah, the one thing I can honestly say, and I mean that, is everything that we create, we just take it to our gigs. Like that's how we practice. Like the tricks that we create don't get tested on your girlfriend and a couple of your friends. Like it gets tested on hundreds and hundreds of people, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, we're never going to put out a trick that doesn't work. Now here, real quick, let's go back to one of our products from 7 years ago called Quadrant. I don't know if you remember that, Luke. Or even Expand. Those 2 tricks, they get overlooked a lot actually, because they're, well, I won't say Expand, Quadrant. It's a very knacky trick to handle. And I do remember way back in the day hearing people say, oh my gosh, you could never do this. And oh, I can't take that out of my pocket in front of pin this and that. And it's like, well, I did for years and fooled many people. It's just, you got to put the practice in. Hold on. You're going to cut me off. I can see it. He takes a big breath. My point is sometimes magic, back in the day, and let's go back 10 years ago, learning sleight of hand and gimmicks and stuff that you look at as a magician and it scares you, that's good magic. Like, that's really good magic. Magic's not real. And to come up with a magic trick that is all self-contained and just goes boof and you don't have to do any magic or sleight of hand, you know, man, it's awesome when it comes out, but those are far and few in between. Really, really good magic takes practice and takes sleight of hand. Magic is sleight of hand. You know, magic in the roots is not self-working. Magic in the roots is sleight of hand.
It depends what you're doing with it.
Just my point is, you know, don't always look at something and be scared of it. Practice it and learn to do it, and learn how to cover anything that needs to be covered, and remember that people don't know what you're doing and don't know what you're holding, even though you do.
We all love self-working toys.
I think
it's important to put. It is important to put that time into like learning the actual like.
Yeah, I think I went so left field. I don't even know what we were talking about. Sorry.
Well, that's what's fun though about you guys is, you know, we were talking about, you know, you guys both being professional magicians and that you do use your tricks that you actually create. I think one of the big telling points or the selling points for me was, you know, you were talking about shooting the trailer for this and some other stuff that you guys did with us. And our team, I wasn't on the shoot, but you're mentioning that our team was so surprised that you guys were able to do the live performances so quickly and get the kind of reactions that you did. And it's because you actually do perform for a living, where we have some people that we work with that sometimes they aren't performers, which isn't a bad thing. And it takes a little while for them to get comfortable and to find the right people to perform for. But you guys just go right out and knock this stuff out. And again, that's a testament to you guys being performers and actually doing this stuff for a living. And those are the small things I think that are important when we do release products is, does this person use this? And if they use it, well, then I must, you know, I'll be able to find a way to use it too. It is a real world piece of magic. And that's more and more important these days because there is more and more magic that comes out. So the more that we can filter that for people and help them, the better off, you know, all of us are at the end of the day. So
of course. And yeah, that is just to go back to what you just said a minute ago. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the last time we came out, we filmed six full. I mean, I'm used to calling them DVDs, but now it comes in a box with a video link.
It's weird, isn't it? It is weird now, yeah.
Yeah. We filmed 6 full, completely different tricks, and we got all the reactions for all 6 DVDs, video boxes, whatever, in like 2 hours. I think we were back in the studio.
Yeah, they were pretty impressed. They're like, no one's ever done it that quickly. I'm like, but you know what? It is about knowing your audience, just being comfortable performing and being confident.
More importantly, all the tricks we filmed, like I said, we hammer them at our own gigs weekly. So
that's why it's just you have the confidence of your trick. Like you've done it a million times. You're like, man, this trick's awesome. I'm excited about it. I got him excited. He got excited. Like, wow, this trick's awesome. People are gonna love it. Let's go bang it out at events and see what's going on. And
yeah, and here we do. Here's something else I want to say real quick that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with this, but just for people, when you're learning a new trick, you know, practice in front of the mirror, practice in front of a video camera, I don't care. But in my opinion, you can practice in front of a mirror 750 times. The minute you do it for a real person, it's different.
It's the first time. Even though you practice it 700 times, it's the first time when it's for a real person.
And my opinion is just when you get a new trick, practice. But before you take it to like a gig, like I said, if you've done it 1,000 times in front of the mirror at home, but never for a real person, my opinion is just show it to as many people as you can. When I get a new trick, even if it's not my own, I buy a new trick from whatever awesome trick that just came out. I I take it everywhere. I do it to everyone that I could possibly can. I go to my mom's house. I go to my sister's. I go to my girlfriend's. I go to my friends. I just perform it for as many live people as I can. And you really work out all the kinks, the bugs, and everything to make it something awesome. That's all I'm saying.
You need to do what he said. And as far as like, it's important that a lot of people out there, I notice, like they'll look at a trailer or they'll look at they'll look at a video, the tutorial. Maybe they bought it and they just watch the tutorial and they don't actually take the time to practice the trick and learn it and actually go out and do it. I think that people are very quick to judge stuff nowadays.
Too quick.
Like they judge, they're like, oh, I'm comparing it to this, I'm comparing it to that, I'm doing this, I'm slamming this, I'm slamming that. There's a lot of negativity, and there needs to be more positivity. And it's got to be like, let's stop trying to slam everybody's stuff, because artists, regardless of their level of creativity or how much, we see a lot of magicians coming up with stuff, or not even magicians, creators, magic creators, inventors coming up with stuff and putting it out, a lot of stuff now. And we all know we have to filter through the fluff to get some diamonds in the rough. You know what I mean? And but I still think it's important before we judge stuff to at least give it that, hey, you know, that seems kind of cool. You know, maybe I don't like the way this gimmick looks or the method. Like, this is a little bit much for me. But maybe it would have done some really good for you if you had gone out and actually did what he said. Go practice in front of your brother or your sister or your mother after you've practiced it for a little while and you've gotten comfortable with the prop or the gimmick. Go out and perform it. You know, you're obviously not going to get your best reactions from your family unless they're like those kind of people who like are just love magic and react all the time. But most of the time they've known you and you've probably done a ton of tricks for them already. So you're not going to get as great of reactions from your close family as you might say like people haven't seen you in a long time or so, or like, you know, just strangers from an event.
I'm going to cut you off. I'm glad he brought this up because I think it is important. And it's not even just about Swiss Army. I have read so many comments about just people that you can tell have not taken the trick themselves and gone and performed it. Like Brandon just said, they watch a trailer or they read a couple of whatever they do to make this judgment. For example, myself, now I never publicly judged. I'm not going to say what trick it is. I never publicly judged the trick, but I watched the trailer. I was like, yeah, it's not for me. Did I bash it? No, I would never go on social media and bash something that I know nothing about. But I ended up getting the trick like a month ago. And one of the first things I said to Brandon was, how have I not been performing this trick for the last
That's
like,
funny. Wow.
I made a judgment and I never gave it what it needs. And because of that, it suffered. Here's an example. I never made a judgment on this trick, but Ash and Ember.
Oh, yeah, the ring thing, yeah.
I'm wearing it right now. I've never judged it, but I just never bought it. It didn't do anything for me for some reason when it first released. Mm-hmm. Then I bought it. I just piggybacked it on one of my orders one day. And you can ask Brandon, I could show you. I got 6 of them. And I wear it every day, and I absolutely love this trick. The minute I performed it at my gig for real laymen, and I saw how powerful Ash and Ember was, I bought a gold one, a silver one, a curved one.
Nice.
And I mean, I'm a ring guy. You'll probably notice in all of our DVDs, I always have rings on. But so my point is like 2 tricks that I should have been performing since they came out, I never did until recently.
I guess people have said people are quick to judge. Don't judge things right away.
Yes,
like
that's right.
Just kind of like maybe that would be good for you. You know what I mean? Maybe because I see people like, oh well, this gimmick.
I think it's also important though that people, as magicians, we're looking at tricks as magicians, but the problem is we're not the ones that we're performing for. We're performing for real people, so it's hard for us to look at the tricks from that lens, from that perspective. How does this look to them? How does this look to me, from a practical standpoint or whatever, but the effect, that's what matters to the spectator. And if you like what the effect looks like, then,
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm really glad we're having this conversation, truthfully, because I think it's very important, and it's something that does get swept under the rug a lot.
Yeah. Get comfortable holding your prop. Get comfortable holding it, and then just know in the back of your head that this is a deck of cards. This is a box. That's all it is. You walk out of there, you're used to holding a box and a deck of cards in your hand when you do your other magic tricks. So treat this exactly the same way as you would. So we want you to be comfortable not worrying about what the workings are and about what, because most things run by
worry about how it seems on the other end, not from your end, because it doesn't. No magic trick in the world matters what it looks like to you. It matters what it looks like to them.
Yeah, so don't be worried about it, because we want you to be comfortable performing this, because this is sick. There's some cool stuff you can do with this. Even if there's one thing out of all the things it does that you love doing with it, it's worth it. It's cool. Or maybe you'll even come up with something yourself of what to do with this.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to say what, because I don't know, just whatever. But somebody who's very, very damn creative sent me a video the other night. I actually sent him a pre-copy of this before it released. And he sent me a couple Facebook videos of things that we never even crossed our mind on what to do with it. And it was actually really good.
It's true.
That's funny. And that's your own trick. I love that. That's your own trick. And you're like, wait a second.
I know, but you know what? We show this guy lots of stuff actually. And he always comes up with something that's completely sideways from what we thought of with it. And that's what I love about other magicians is they get something in their hands, like Xavier, for instance, that Brandon said earlier. He was doing, that guy's a bloody ninja with a regular deck of cards. But what and he didn't need Swiss deck to do this. He could do it flawlessly without Swiss deck, but it made it 700 times easier because of the no pinky break situation, or no, like, always knowing where the card is right away no matter what.
Love it. Well, I've got about 5 minutes left, guys, until we need to wrap things up. I wanted to make sure that we got in any other details or facts about this that you think people should know about, or other things that you've seen. I'll be keeping an eye on the questions. I think we're pretty much caught up there. But were there any other things about this that you want people to know about, or the future stuff? I'm not going to ask you to do any of the new things, but maybe any little bit of info people could find out about what's coming up next from you guys, or just any other little nuggets that you want to drop before we got to wrap things up today.
The only thing that I think I want to say right now, just because, again, I'm not really sure how much I'm allowed to say, so we'll just keep it vague. We do have a lot of stuff coming out, and everyone has to remember that this has been like 5 years of creating. We didn't just come up with all this last year and film it all with Murphy's. This is a long time coming.
It was actually longer than that.
Yeah, it's probably been.
It's been a lot longer.
Some of them might even been 7 years old, and they're just now finally hitting the market. But anyways, it doesn't matter. There's a good 8 years of creations that are finally. Actually, I think the next one that we're dropping was created probably like 7 years ago. Was the first creation of this trick, and it's gone through so many phases and reworking of the gimmick to make the absolute best product possible to give to people, and it's finally at its stages, and I believe it's coming out next. We also, and it's a toy. It's not a deck of cards. I want to say this real quick. We have a lot of like gimmicks that are coming. I can only think one, two. I think there's only two or three card tricks. I think actually.
We have some instant download stuff, kind of things going on, some little projects that we did. We have a lot of stuff that we mixed together. So, not everything's they're going to be your home run hitter banger, but they're good tricks still. Like, they're fun tricks. They're good tricks, to do visual stuff. There is some fun stuff coming out.
I will say one thing. Some of the stuff that these guys are doing with gum is going to destroy you. You guys are going to just lose your mind when you see this stuff. I got a chance to get a peek of some of it yesterday. And I know that you guys will destroy Instagram and YouTube and your social media and real people with this stuff when you see it. That's just the stuff with the gum. You got a lot of other really cool stuff too, but that stuff that you guys showed me yesterday, it was like, man, these guys are going to love this. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Since you brought it up real quick, what I love about the gum stuff is it's all practical. It's all like pull it out of your pocket and boom, like do the trick. And visual, like the visuals of these gum tricks are just ridiculous.
As we come out, maybe we'll come on the show and we'll talk about each trick, kind of a little bit about each one.
Bring it on. Let's do the damn thing. I'm all about that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I would love to show you guys a sneak peek of one of them, but I just
time.
I want the excitement to be happy when it like releases,
Well, there is something else I'd love to do with you guys. We don't even have to come on and talk about a specific trick, but Chris's house is like a magic museum, and I think it would be really fun to come on, have you guys on again, just to come and hang out, and maybe give us a little peek at some of the stuff you've got going on at your house, because it really is like a museum / magic shop / stage. Like, it's crazy, the stuff that's in his house. You guys would love it. So maybe we'll do something like that sometime soon, too. That'd be fun.
I would love to do it. I mean, you got all this stuff. You might as well show it.
Awesome.
I mean, for everyone, what Luke's talking about, we're actually sitting in my living room. I didn't just build this in a warehouse, or this is like in my living room 24/7. So there's a full stage to perform a show right there.
And Bro Gilbert was asking a little while ago, I don't know if Bro was still watching, he said, can we please get one of you guys in the zigzag? I think it was him asking if Brandon will get in the zigzag.
I don't fit the zigzag. I'm 6'2".
Brandon, yeah.
Chris is like 5 foot what?
I'm like 5'5" or 6".
5'6" or something. I look sitting in a low chair. He's sitting in a higher chair.
I don't know if I could get.
Well, you know what? We'll save that for when we come back and do the little tour thing with you guys. We'll take a look at the zigzag. Maybe we'll get a live performance of the zigzag.
Yeah, for sure. No, I would love to do a little tour. So maybe we'll do that.
All right. Well, in the meantime, as we wrap this up, if anybody out there wants to keep up with you guys or know what's going on, if you're going to be at any conventions, I always make sure that the guests that come on get a chance to make sure people can keep up with them and find out more about them. So this is your chance to plug yourself, what you're up to, social media wise, website wise, anything and everything goes. The floor is yours for the next couple minutes here to just tell people how they can keep up with both of you guys.
So, well, okay. So it's funny. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I never really have had the time to make videos and be Mr. Social Media. I do have a very busy life outside of Magic. And then when that life isn't happening, me and Brandon are creating and we're doing shows.
Yeah, I'm just busy creating Magic. So I don't have time to post videos.
I love it. No, it's true though. These guys are really busy, but maybe any conventions you might be popping up at, or anywhere where people might be able to see you. Maybe even if it's not sometime too soon, but maybe in the future.
Yeah. So real quick, here's a breakdown. So MagiFest, we're not going to make it because our buddy Ryan just left today, and we're not going to make it with him. Browsers Bash, we're not going to make it to. And unfortunately, this year we're not going to make it to live either. Because
he's running a haunted house.
Yeah, I own and operate something else. That's a whole other ball game. But I think we will eventually be a part of a lot of lectures down the road, like doing some sort of like appearing at like conventions and stuff. So hopefully, when we get a bit more of the newer products out that we'd like to kind of showcase at these things, once those drop, then we're excited about doing lectures, doing conventions, and appearing in more places, So I think that'll happen. It's just a matter of time. But I think we'll all update everybody when it's time.
And like I said, you guys won't be strangers. We'll be doing more stuff with you guys, after this as well. So we'll make sure people keep up with not only where you're at, what you're doing, but also the magic that you guys are working on and that will be coming out with us over the next few months here. We're very excited about that. And I want to take a second as well to thank you guys, not only for hanging out with us today and answering the questions, but hanging out last night. I had a blast jamming with you guys last night, just talking and chatting with you, and looking forward to doing more of that too. So I got to get out of here, but I want to say thank you guys, and I want to thank everybody at home that's watching too. Project Swiss Army, it's out there now, guys, available worldwide, and I will catch up with you guys right after this. So thank you again, guys, for hanging out with us.
Thank you so much, Luke. Bye, everybody.
Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching.
There you have it, my friends. A quick Q&A with my buddies, Brandon, David, and Chris Turchi. I guess it wasn't that quick. We went about an hour. Had a blast chat with them all about their brand new project. We're very excited about it. I know they are. And trust me, some of the other stuff that they've got that's coming down the pipeline is going to absolutely mess with your heads in your eyes. The tricks they're doing with this gum stuff, it's just so visual and so good. Just wait for it. That's all I got to say. Just wait for it. And I do want to thank you guys as well for tuning in, for all the great questions. All the good feedback, and like I said, we'll be back again soon with these guys to give you more of what they're up to, what they're working on, and all that stuff too. So we'll be back again more and more this year live, planning on being here each and every Wednesday for you, just like always, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Today we went a little bit longer because Chris was actually gigging. He's out doing a show, but we did get the show for you, and I hope you enjoyed it. So we will be back again soon. Don't forget, Project Swiss Army is out there. Pick it up from Magic Dealers Worldwide. Trust me, when you get it, you're going to love it. And have fun with it. All right? We will catch you guys on the flip side. My name is Luke Dancy, and I am out of here.